Hey, how's it going, guys? This is Tom from UDS with another edition of UDS Interviews, our series where we chat to interesting people from around the world. Now, my guest this week is one of the most promising singer-songwriters performing today, and with his debut album dropping very soon, if you haven't heard of him yet, you soon will. Here to talk all about it, it is my pleasure to reintroduce for the second time for his second appearance on this show, Will Newman.
I'm not the thing that you made me, just one less thing that can break me. Just leave your words cause they make me crazy for a little while. Don't need your game, you can't play me. Those compliments you don't pay me, but I miss the way that you make me crazy for a little while.
Will, how you doing, dude?
Hey man, it's really good to be back chatting to you. I think, the interviews I've done with you have always been like the most fun ones because we'll talk about serious stuff and then you'll be like, what's your favourite mammal or something? And I'm just, what to do with it? And it's just...
Well, it's funny you should mention that, because I think last time we asked you the sandwich question, the trademark sandwich or condiment thing, where, we asked you what your favourite sandwich is or what your favourite sauce is. So I've had to think a bit deeper this time about something stupid to ask you. And of course, you are Will Newman, so I have to ask you, who is your favourite Will? And I've got a list here to help you out a bit. I've got Will Smith, Will Ferrell, Will Arnett, Will Grigg, the famous meme football striker, William Shakespeare, Will Shakespeare, Billy Corgan, because that's still a Will technically, and William Shatner. So is there any of them or any other Wills that you can think of, other than your fine self, of course, that would be your favourite Will?
It's probably like quite vanilla, but like Will Ferrell is just like, it's super. Yeah, we were talking about this last time. Someone's like more famous than famous. Like he's just, and he's just funny and he's very like quaint, and like all of his films, they're all like done in the same way. Like you can watch Step Brothers and like Anchorman and there's like parallels. It's just, he's probably my favourite Will.
He is a very, very good Will. Even when he's in a bad film, he tends to be quite entertaining. I don't know if you've ever seen that Sherlock Holmes film he did a few years ago. Oh,
no, I haven't.
It's bad. It's really bad. I thought it'd be good because it's him and John C. Reilly, and in Step Brothers they're so good together. But he's good in it. But everything else about that film is hot garbage. But no, he tends to be good. He also tends to be kind of a bit kooky in a lot of his roles. One might say he's a bit crazy, which is my very laboured segue of saying that you have a brand new single out called Crazy. And it's been out for give or take about a week or so now, hasn't it? It dropped on the 5th. What's the reaction been to it so far?
It's been really like positive, yeah. And I've been trying to sort of branch out a little bit. So I usually get quite a few blog reviews, and I've obviously made some relationships with people in media so that, they cover my stuff. Bit of a shout out to Leo Ulf over at BBC Radio Kent because he always plays my stuff on Upload. Also, just trying to branch out. Like I've been like allergic to TikTok because I just don't get I didn't know anything about it, and I just got to this point where I was like, I'm just going to download it and just maybe just play a little bit or just see what's on there, because I feel like as an emerging artist, all this stuff is mandatory. You can't pick and choose. Like if you want to be successful, you've got to have a presence on most of the platforms now, for sure.
So what's your TikTok handle?
It's Will Newman Musician. And you can go on there and see like who's synced your songs to like different things. One of the ones that came through today was like a bikini page. And it was like my song to like, I don't know, it's weird, but you're like, I'll take it, like it's flattering.
I mean, any publicity is good publicity, I suppose. But I mean, I have a TikTok. I go on it maybe once a week because I don't get it. But like some of the numbers, like I know a few people, even in sort of our local area, that have got like tens of thousands of followers because it's such an engaged audience. So I think it is such a powerful way of getting your stuff out there as a creator. You kind of just have to sort of suck up the stereotype of being a Gen Z person and just sort of get on with it. But speaking of sort of evolving into new territories and branching out. This single is kind of a bit of a departure to a lot of your previous work, in that it sort of adopts a lot more sort of synth pop elements and electronics. How have you found sort of exploring these new genres?
Yeah, I think when I released the music before and I'd spoken to you, I was still really getting used to my voice and as you do things, because I produce most of my records, I get a guy to mix them, but you have to learn the technical ability to like know even how you want to do it. And I've explained it to my friends that like when musical ideas come to you, you're having to try and put them into a language that just doesn't fit in the language. It's like talking, a completely different language. But yeah, I'm a really big fan of the band Laney. I've got a signed little album thing up there. And I just thought, I've kind of ticked the box with myself. Like I can sing now and I've got some acoustic stuff out there. What can I do if I take the fundamentals of this and what my sound is and just sort of expand and can I keep the fundamental sound that I've got and go to a different genre? And something I've spoken about is, why do we have to stay in like that one genre? Like obviously a really big influence of mine is John Mayer, and he's got like a pop album, he's got country albums, he plays with the is he the Grateful Dead?
I mean, that it would be a combination I would like to see if it doesn't exist, but yeah.
It is. I know it is. Sorry, I think it's Dead and Company, isn't it? Yeah. Dead and Company. And I just thought, I'm really enjoying listening to this music. I listen to like Joan and Laney and a bit of Loud and stuff like that. I was just like, why am I not doing that? I might as well just try and branch out. And yeah, it's been the stuff that people have really, really responded to well. And then I've kind of just been like, well, I'm going to roll with this now. So.
Absolutely. So obviously, we're probably looking a bit further ahead to a time when people can play live again, but obviously with a bit more of an expansive sound where it isn't just you and a guitar. Do you foresee a time where perhaps you would need a backing band to sort of support you on stage?
Yeah, I thought about that quite a lot. It's difficult, isn't it? Because I've never like written music with other people really. Like I'm very extroverted, but I'm very introverted in my music, that I just do it all myself. And I thought about that, I play a lot of open mics, or I did, when we were allowed to leave the house and not get arrested. But like, I thought how they're gonna sort of go over. And I think if I got to a point where there was a lot more interest and it wasn't just playing open mics, it was playing shows or like a really small tour, then yeah. But I wouldn't outsource any of that stuff. Like my friends are amazing musicians, have written on this new album with me. So I would just try and keep it in the family, I guess.
You can't be DIY. Can't say fairer than that. But you mentioned the album that is scheduled to come out sometime this summer. I don't know if I saw a fixed date of when it's going to come out. So where are you along with the album? Is it all mixed, recorded, done and dusted, or are you still sort of putting the final touches on it?
So yeah, it's the new sound, I guess, started in about August 2019, like that long ago. And I've just got a couple of songs to actually just get back from mixing and mastering. Everything's recorded. All the vocals are sort of done, all that. And I'm aiming to get it out for like mid-June, because I just think it's a really great, it's a great time of year. And it's when my mood is the best. It's when people are going out and enjoying stuff. And
it's my birthday.
It's your birthday. And I remember last year, I just had that like light bulb moment when I wrote Make Believe, and it's just got this like Pacific Coast Highway feel to that song. And I remember like driving around when I'd written the instrumental and I was just listening to demos, and I was like, this fits the mood so well. It fits, the sun, the sunset, and it being really warm. And that's probably going to be the opener on the album. I'm not averse to if a big label wants to come on board and they wanted to delay, I would do that. Like I just think, yeah, I can't wait any longer, because I've run into that issue where when you record something a while ago, the material that I've written in like October, November, December is sounding quite different to the stuff I wrote a year and a half ago, and it's just getting that consistency in there as well.
Absolutely, absolutely. So, with this coming out in June, that's kind of when they reckon that live shows may be able to start. So, have you got any sort of tentative, loose plans to try and, get a tour behind it, even like, just a local thing?
Yeah, I thought about that, but it's just, I think everyone thinks that this is done. I don't think it's done whatsoever. I like anything can happen at any time. So it's me and my friends were kind of talking about, and my friend James, we were talking about doing a live stream for it. I don't really live stream that much. I just think that like I could set out all these dates and they can just get pushed back, because the dates the government are giving us are literally, I think people think it's the final. It's like that's the earliest date. That's the best date.
Yeah.
And just I guess as well, like, doing the live stream, there's a bit less pressure. I won't have performed in a year and a half at that point. And I'm open to it. But it's, I have to say, I really do enjoy like the writing and that a bit more than performing, but it's not that I don't like performing. It's just when I'm here with my computer and I'm making stuff and I'm in, the door and stuff, that's really where I'm feeling, I'm really enjoying this stuff. But I think a live stream would be a good option, especially then, because I can just use the backing or whatever as well.
Absolutely, yeah. It can. You have more of sort of the control of the environment to get that sort of ideal sound that you're looking for. But obviously an album is more than just the music. Have you, worked on the artwork, and if it's going to be a physical release, are you going to do CDs, cassettes, even like a vinyl? Have you sort of given any thought to any of the packaging around it?
Yeah. I just have this constellation of songs, and I was like, what's a good album front or any of those things, and I'll send it to you once we've finished the interview, because obviously I'm not going to drop it yet because it's got the album name on it, but it just perfectly like encapsulates like what I'm interested in, and I don't know what the sort of mood of the album is. I can say that the album theme is basically the beginning to an end of a relationship, and it's just there's a nice mix of stuff in there, and as I said, I had this constellation of songs, and the minute I saw the album artwork, and the guy I worked with was really talented, and he just got exactly what I wanted, that was when it got real for me, and I thought, wow, I've actually done something here. It's a really nice thing that I've worked towards, and I'd love to have vinyls and CDs and all that, and tape cassettes and things. I think I'm gonna look into it all. It's just vinyl printing. If you don't have a label on board, it's a lot of money. But having the physical record, I think I could just die happy. Like I would. That's such an epitome for me as like a musician. That would just be a really nice thing to have, even if it's a small run. Do you know what I mean? 25 vinyls for me and my friends, I would really like that. Yeah.
Well, as long as you save one for me to buy, then that's all that matters. But yeah, no, I absolutely agree. I have such a soft spot for physical media. One of my sort of dreams, particularly when I played music a little bit more with other people, when you could play it with other people, was to record a CD and then a few years down the line, like find it in like a charity shop or something like that. Just sort of, it's just a weird thing, just being able to sort of find your stuff, and it's like just got this archive of it somewhere in the world that you have no connection to, but it just exists somewhere. There's just something a little bit romantic about that I really dig. Yeah. So yeah.
The message in a bottle thing, there's quite a lot of artists from London, like Tom Mish and Barney Artists and people like that, and Jordan Rakai, and like, I don't know, the physical releases do all right here, but they always post videos of like Japan and China where they're crazy about vinyl, and there's like, it's not just their vinyl, it's like a whole shop, not a shop front, but like a whole segment of the shop where they're really into that media. And I just think like, that would be so cool. Having something physical. I've got a handful of really rare vinyls from my favourite bands, and I just cherish them. And it's just so cathartic to open it up and like smell it, even like the ink, and yeah, it just makes it more intimate, doesn't it? Like you're actually interfacing with something like people used to.
That's it. I mean, there's a few artists that I know that were kind of big about probably getting on for 20 years ago now, but kind of missed the real wave of even like MySpace and everything. And because of that, and because they sort of never reached those high of highs, you have to like really dig to find any of their stuff online. And so I've kind of made it my mission to search out this stuff and just at least back it up on a pen drive, because as much as like, you know, the convenience of streaming is great and everything, it is also terrifying in a way that it only takes one sort of switch to be flicked and then all of a sudden just it's all just gone. So yeah, I think there's a lot of sentimental and romantic value to physical media, but there's also a real practical sense of like having this you know, this backup of like your work on a thing that can't be wiped. So make it happen, dude. Make it happen, even if it's just for me. Please make it happen.
Well,
cheers, dude. Cheers. Where did I get to with my questions? So this is one that I can't remember if I asked you this last time, but if I did, I'm going to twist it slightly. And that is, you know, here at UDS, we don't just talk about music. We talk about the breadth of pop culture. We talk movies, video games, everything and more. So with that in mind, if you could have a song from the new album, specifically from the new album, featured in anything at all, what would it be?
That's a really good question. Yeah. Just like playing whatever the new GTA will be, and like changing one of the radio stations and like, I don't know, curb stomping people and you like, and it's my song. Oh man, that'd be so, I don't know why, but the songs that are on the GTA like playlists and the radio stations are already good. They're already amazing. There's like Tupac, there's loads of stuff on there. But there's something about it being in the game that it just takes it to another level. I don't know why, but you know,
it absolutely does. Like I could definitely see, particularly if, you know, the rest of the album has kind of the vibes that Crazy does. Sort of like maybe a remaster of Vice City or something like that, where it's got kind of that Malibu vibe. I think that could suit it really, really well. And it's always weird with GTA songs, because like GTA and like other games like GTA, like Watch Dogs and Saints Row, I have such like a strong like positive feeling to those tracks. FIFA, on the other hand, I can only think of those songs as FIFA songs because they're just played to death on things like that. I don't know if you play FIFA or have played FIFA a lot.
Yeah,
but yeah, like I think there's like a You, Me and Six song from like 3 years ago, and I just cannot think of it as anything other than a FIFA song now.
Yeah, it was like, what was it, Midnight City by do you know what I'm on about?
I think I do.
It's like, ooh, oh god, I'm not gonna do it, but it's on I think it was on, it's really high, I can't do it, but it's like waiting for the roll, waiting for the Ryans. Yeah, I don't know who it is. Is it T80 or something? M80?
Yeah,
that FIFA song, you're like, that is FIFA, that's just a theme. Yeah, I know what you're about.
I know, and it's weird because I have like such a dismissive attitude to those songs that they are just FIFA music. But GTA, I'm like, these are god tier bangers, and it's just weird. I don't know. Maybe it's because like after like losing 7-0 at FIFA, and then it's just like some Britpop band playing, I'm just like, yeah, fuck you. But when it's GTA, you're kind of a bit more chill, so I don't know.
Have you ever played Bully? You know,
yeah. The Rockstar game.
I literally got, there's on SoundCloud, someone uploaded the full like theme. It's like, you know, like an hour long, and it's so good. And I was even thinking the other day, I was watching a film, First Man, about space, and I was like, take enough time to realise how much context music gives. Like, and even though I'm a musician, I'd never notice music in films. And then when you do, you realise that, especially when it's something sci-fi and it's to do with space, that sense of expansiveness literally comes from the soundtrack. And it's in a very different way to how we just consume music. It really adds a lot of emotion and different elements to it. Sure.
Absolutely, because it kind of has to work on that slightly more subconscious level where you're not paying attention to it. It's just you kind of just have that instinctive reaction to it. Whereas music that you sort of seek out to and you're listening to more actively, you can be a little bit more sort of direct with it. But yeah, you definitely have to really capture that mood with a film score. It's definitely an art to it, and I find it very impressive. Like I've also found on Bandcamp recently, because I don't know if you're on Bandcamp at all, when they've been doing these Bandcamp Friday things where they waive all the fees. So it's given me a chance to like seek out loads of artists that I wouldn't have checked out before. But there's this group that do imagined soundtracks where it's not a real movie. They kind of make the movie through the soundtrack, and but they'll do all the artwork, they'll do all the poster and everything, but it's not a real movie. They've just done the soundtrack to it, and it's really cool how the way they manage to sort of capture the mood of like a horror film or like a space opera or something like that, literally just through this isolated soundtrack.
So that's a really cool project. I guess it's just proven like so much of narrative storylines and context that she comes from like the mood in a song or whatever, or a score.
Absolutely. Well, I mean, hopefully there will be a movie or a GTA game with a Will Newman track in it at some time in the near future. But obviously we've touched on it a little bit, but 2021, much like 2020, particularly after we chatted last, it's been very much up in the air, and it's very, very hard to make plans. But aside from the album release and, perhaps a live stream in the summer, have you got any more sort of plans or projects or music that you're working on for the rest of the year?
I've got, just after Crazy's come out, before the album in June, hopefully, I'm going to do another single. And it's probably going to be like the end of April or the beginning of May. And it's that one, I won't say what it is, obviously, but that one is like, it fully, when I listen to it, it just reminds me of summer where, you're like, oh, it's 8:00 and it's warm outside and it's getting lighter. It's that vibe. And I get so much nostalgia from songs that remind me of seasons. I've got that. I've got the album, and not much. I mean, I stopped writing in late November, and I just said to myself, like, I'm just going to put the metaphorical pen down for a bit and just not write anything. And it's been really, really nice. And there's like the insecurity where you're like, maybe I'll never write anything good again, and nothing's coming to me. But it's nice because I guess, when you're trying to really, really nail a project, if you've made some songs that you love, there's just so much internal pressure for you to be able to reach that level again on something. So it's been nice to just, like I've got a keyboard now, like play some piano and play like Stevie Ray Vaughan and just play around on the guitar, something completely different to what I do, and just have a bit more fun with it like I was when I was a kid.
Absolutely. I mean, that is, I suppose, one of the benefits of departing from your previous work is that it's harder to sort of compare it to anything you've done before, because I think we're all guilty of doing, we're all our own worst critic is, I guess, the point I'm getting at. And so having sort of an isolated project where you can sort of just see it for its own merit is something that's definitely worthwhile. So do you think that this is a path that you'll go down further in sort of future writing, or do you think there's more genres and more styles that you'd want to explore after this album?
That's a good one. I think while I was writing this album, I was making songs and I was like, this doesn't fit on here, but I'm not getting rid of it. I'm going to zip it up and put it on a hard drive and put it somewhere. And a lot of them were coming around during the summer, June, July, August last year, and I was just basically exclusively listening to Continuum by John Mayer because it's a great album, and that kind of bled into the music. So I've got quite a lot of songs that are actually quite like, I guess, neo soul-y and blues and things, and I'd love to do that and just get a really basic drum kit, like just a snare and a kick or a little hi-hat, and really get people involved and do some more choral stuff maybe, and just do something a bit different. I mean, that's not confirmed, but I'm really enjoying that. And those songs are very like guitar based, and ultimately that's what I started as. So it feels like a bit of homecoming with them, but there's nothing solid. I'll just have to see how it kind of develops, I think.
You're not going to do the metal album for Hugo?
Oh, I really want to, actually. Well, I'm not. I've got a really good plugin at the moment, like a drum plugin. I'm tempted to do it for him. Just do like a little four under a different moniker or something. Yeah.
Will Newman Hardcore 2021 is happening.
Yeah, literally.
Oh, dude. Well, that is it for what I've got written down. So the last thing I've got to ask you is, until people can see you at a live show sometime, where can they find you online?
Best place to find me is probably, Spotify if you want to get involved. I'm on all the other streaming sites. I'm now on TikTok. No promises on the quality of my content on there. But yeah, Will Newman Musician on TikTok, and then the same for Instagram. I'm on Facebook. And I always say to people, one of the things that actually makes me more motivated than anything else is when you do get people reaching out and saying, I really like your music. It's like a tank of petrol in the engine. And, I feel like the way that people are consuming music has changed, and it's probably increased so much over this time. And there have been more people from around the world just saying, like, I really like your stuff, Will. And that beats any number of streams for me. That's if I'm touching someone's heart or they really like it, yeah, that's really what I want to do, really.
Well, you've touched all our hearts today, so thank you so much for your time. And hopefully next time we do this, it is in a grotty Weatherspoons with a pint in our hands, and hopefully they do profiteroles again.
Yeah, well, keep an eye on the post, because I might try and get a vinyl to you if I sort that out.
Oh well, here's hoping. But dude, until next time, I'll see you next time.
Cheers, mate.